Sadio Mane's bombastic move from Liverpool to Bayern Munich seems to not have paid off at all for the German Giants, as he was a mere shadow of his former self at Liverpool. Not only that, but he even got into an altercation with a teammate, ruining the inter-club atmosphere, and for a player which was brought in to replace the likes of Robert Lewandowski, that was simply unacceptable. So what happened to Sadio Mane this season, and will he bounce back in the next one? When Sadio Mane made his highly anticipated debut in Bavaria the previous summer, discussions regarding him claiming the Ballon d'Or were a very serious talk in town. The recently titled Senegalese champion of the Africa Cup of Nations was not only expected to boost Bayern Munich's striking choices, but also become a pivotal figure in their transition period post-Robert Lewandowski. Head coach Julian Nagelsmann and sporting director Hassan Salihamidzic were counting on the ex-Liverpool star to rack up a hefty goal tally in a new, dynamic system that incorporated several hybrid forwards, while simultaneously setting the standard for his teammates. The fervor, mindset, and dedication of Mane, Bayern believed, would inspire fellow team members like Kingsley Coman, Serge Gnabry, and Leroy Sane, whose performances had been somewhat erratic for the club's taste. But this hasn't exactly come to fruition, at least not up to this point. Since joining Bayern at the end of March, Tuchel has consistently exhibited an optimistic attitude. Even in the face of a decisive defeat at City, he managed to express his unwavering enthusiasm, proclaiming his shocked and loved sentiment for his new squad. However, Tuchel recognizes that he needs to pay special attention to Mane. Even at his age, a club switch requires some adjustment time, Tuchel recently commented. Strikers like Sadio are delicate, that's the crux of the matter. It's a question of trust and patience for him to regain his rhythm. Establishing rhythm typically involves feeling at ease in your role on the pitch, yet Mane has not identified an ideal role for himself since his transition from Anfield during the summer. During the season's initial phase, ex-manager Julian Nagelsmann, who vacated Bayern on March 24th, deployed Mane as a forward in his quest to find a successor for Lewandowski. However, Nagelsmann quickly understood that Mane could not fulfill the same role as the Polish international had for many years. Mane was repositioned to the wing, but still found it challenging to find his footing in Nagelsmann's frequently utilized 3-4-2-1 system. To further compound issues, an inflammation at the top of his fibula prevented Mane from participating in the World Cup in Qatar with Senegal and kept him off the pitch for 6 weeks following the resumption of the Bundesliga season. Tuchel seemingly favors using the ex-Liverpool player on the left in a 4-3-3 formation, or as part of a group of 4 versatile attackers who attempt to crowd the middle and evade man-to-man defense by swapping positions. Regardless of any tactical role discussions, Mane's problems appear to run deeper. He seems to have lost the self-assurance that once propelled him to take on any defender worldwide in one-on-one situations. His innovation and unpredictability, along with his goal-scoring prowess, are what set Mane apart as a unique player. Yet since landing in Munich, and especially after missing the World Cup, Mane often appears disheartened. Even some of his teammates are bemused by the lack of vigor the striker displays in both training and matches. What has precisely triggered this version of Mane that is a mere silhouette of his former self is up for conjecture. However, it's clear that something is amiss, which, if you read between the lines, Tuchel seems to have acknowledged. The new manager has also stressed trust and patience, 2 qualities that might not immediately spring to mind when thinking about Bayern, a club that dismissed their head coach Nagelsmann despite his winning ratio of 73%. With Bayern in turmoil and Mane, a supposed marquee player, on a downward trajectory, their union could potentially turn toxic. And there were signs of it already, with a physical altercation Mane got in with Leroy Sane after a 3-0 loss against Manchester City in the Champions League semi-final. The tension between the two started showing on the field when Sane attempted a short pass to Mane during one of Bayern's occasional attacks. Mane, however, made a deep run instead. Shortly afterwards, Sane confronted Mane, blaming the substitute, who had only been on the field for 14 minutes, for the mistake, and upon returning to the dressing room post-match, Mane voiced his discontent to Sane regarding the manner in which he had been addressed on the field. This disagreement escalated into a physical altercation, leaving Sane with a swollen lip. Consequently, Bayern's management decided to bench Mane for the upcoming Bundesliga match against Hoffenheim on Saturday and levy a fine on him. Although Bayern doesn't plan to terminate the striker's contract, they believed a significant sanction was necessary. One potential reason for Mane's bad first season in Bayern could very well have been the previous one in Liverpool. In the 2022-23 season, Liverpool exhibited an extraordinary level of dedication, competing in every conceivable match across all tournaments while pursuing an unparalleled quadruple. Mane was featured in 51 out of their 63 games, delivering 23 goals and 5 assists. Jurgen Klopp's squad ultimately clinched the FA Cup and Carabao Cup double, despite narrowly missing out on both the Premier League title and Champions League final. The Reds' lean squad was pushed to its utmost limits, leading to a significant slump in performance this season. Key players like Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho, and even Salah, who despite the circumstances has managed to notch over 20 goals, have all fallen short of their usual standards, leaving Liverpool in a disappointing 8th position on the Premier League table. Even if Mane had remained, it's highly doubtful that such a decline could have been averted, given that the Senegalese forward himself is still grappling with the physical toll of the draining previous season. That could also explain why it's taken Mane so long to recover from his surgery, and why he's now seemingly more prone to uncharacteristic emotional outbursts. Mane needs a long break this summer to refresh and re-energize, while also assessing what he wants to achieve as he edges towards the latter stages of his career. So what is next for Sadio Mane? As per Sport 1, Bayern's officials are not entirely pleased with Mane's inaugural season. They anticipated more from a player possessing extensive experience at top-tier football, and his commitment during training sessions has been subject to scrutiny, and the report suggests that Mane has lost some of the explosiveness that made him such a potent threat at Liverpool. His persistent efforts on the pitch are evident, but his efficiency with the ball has noticeably diminished. Having scored only 1 goal since October, and in the aftermath of his spat with Sane, Sky Germany reports that Bayern is contemplating putting Mane up for sale in the summer. Mane's contract with Bayern extends until 2025, and he might be given 1 more season to prove his worth. Finishing this season on a high note could bolster his prospects, and Tuchel's team could certainly benefit from the top form of Mane in their pursuit of another Bundesliga title and their efforts to reverse their aggregate shortfall against City in the Champions League. However, whether he has any reserves left at this point is yet to be determined. From a sporting perspective, Thomas Tuchel does not envision a role for Mane who doesn't mesh with his system. Consequently, Bayern is shifting its focus towards signing a new striker in the summer and is keen to offload Mane as soon as possible. At this stage, it's uncertain whether any team would be interested in acquiring the Senegalese winger if his past reputation persists, but it has been significantly tarnished by his lackluster performance this season, and the disgraceful altercation with Leroy Sane that resulted in a hefty fine and suspension. Currently, Bayern appears to be burdened with a poor investment. Mane's existing contract lasts until 2025, implying that at a yearly cost of 20 million euros, Bayern will have to shell out nearly 40 million euro more over the upcoming 2 years. Eliminating these wages from their financial obligations, regardless of the transfer fee, could offer a substantial fiscal relief to the club, and it could cover the salary of a top-tier striker, such as Napoli's Victor Osimhen. It would be a challenge to find a Bayern fan who would regret Mane's departure. In general, it's a really sad turn of events for a player who was without a doubt one of the best, if not the best, Premier League winger up to last season, to now nosedive into physical altercations, injuries, and a generally bad period of his life after the move from Liverpool. Whether Bayern will sell him or not after just 1 season, we're still yet to see. But the fact is that Mane is a great player, still capable of playing 2 or 3 decent seasons. Question is Bayern the right place for him? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think Mane should leave Bayern or not? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.